People never openly say they don't like introverts because that would sound bad. Instead, they say things like, "Why are you so quiet? You don't talk much. Are you okay? You seem off today." And if you're an introvert and you've been told that before, you know how annoying that is because you're just chilling. You're not mad. You're not judging them. Well, maybe you are judging them. I don't know you. But the point is, you're not doing anything that warrants this full-on interrogation. Maybe you're just quiet. And for some reason, that bothers people.
I think introverts are morally weak. If you're an introvert, I think it's not your fault. I think you matter and you are loved by God, but I think you need to try to change.
Come out of your shell a little bit?
Yes. Human beings are social animals, right? The labor that we do is social, but we've set up these categories where we say some people do the social stuff and other people don't have to do it. Extroverts, we're taking intellectual risk in a conversation. We're taking theatrical risk. But then the introvert in the corner, they just get to be over there and there's this narrative. Oh, they have their genius ideas going on over there that they wouldn't even deign to bestow upon us mortals. Let's hear it then. Because if you're an introvert, then why do I have to host the dinner party every day?
Oh, you feel like it's emotional labor to be the extrovert?
I think it's emotional labor. I think it's social labor. I think it's intellectual. I think it's basically every kind of labor.
You think introverts need to come out of their shell?
Yes.
What if they don't want to?
I've been thinking about this way too much recently, and it made me realize that there are 3 real reasons people do not like introverts. And none of them have anything to do with the introvert themselves. Reason number 1. People mistake your silence for weakness. This kind of thinking can lead to people believing that introverts lack confidence or even that they are dumb. In that video I just showed you, this woman, Joe Sunday, claims that extroverts are forced to bear the brunt of labor in social situations, and that society excuses introverts from doing things like hosting dinner parties. First of all, no introvert is asking you to host a dinner party. We don't even want to be there. But second, I think society is set up in the complete opposite way. Somewhere along the way, we made up this very strange and very wrong equation that loudness equals confidence, which equals intelligence. And so when an introvert doesn't show up and perform confidence the way people expect it, they don't jump into conversations quickly, they don't dominate the room, they don't have a forced hot take ready in 3 seconds, people fill in the blank with the worst possible interpretation. If you don't jump in fast, they think you have nothing to offer. If you don't pause before speaking, they assume you are unsure. If you don't dominate the conversation, they think you're above that conversation. And here's what makes this all so backwards. The person who pauses before speaking or chooses not to participate in the conversation actually is doing something that most people don't do. They're thinking before they speak. They're waiting until they have something worth saying before they say it, which is a wild concept, I know, but that means that they usually do tend to have something more valuable to say when they do speak. And I think that's where she got the whole notion of them having these grand ideas that they're not trying to share. It's just not that deep. They thought about what they had to say, it wasn't worth saying, so they didn't say it. Or they were still just thinking about what they wanted to say. Because it is torture inside the mind of an introvert. Because before they've opened their mouth, they've already thought about what your reaction to what they were going to say would be, they've reframed their thinking, and when they finally have a good, nuanced response, the conversation has already progressed. And viewing this as morally weak, as she said, doesn't make any sense. This is where that term loud and wrong comes from. Some people just can't trouble themselves to cook their ideas for more than a moment before letting it out and embarrassing themselves. Although a lot of introverts do lack confidence, I don't think it's a trait of introversion. And deep down, I think extroverts know this too because they are the ones projecting this superiority complex onto introverts. And this projecting that people do is actually the next reason people dislike introverts. Introverts make them feel rejected. You would think that by minding your own business and chilling by yourself that you wouldn't rub anybody the wrong way, but nope. Because here's the thing about people. We like who we like based on how someone makes us feel. What that means is, although people may not say it out loud, they want something from you. People want you to validate them and make them feel something. They want you to laugh at their jokes. They want you to match their energy, make them feel interesting, smart, or liked. So when an introvert walks into that equation, just being their normal, reserved self, the other person is not getting the validation that they are used to. And they get in their head about it. They start asking themselves questions like, do they not like me? Why are they acting this way to me? I didn't do anything to them. And then they get all hung up on you not speaking, and that turns into you being rude and you being stuck up. Or they think you're always in a bad mood. And I actually have the perfect story for this. There was this personal trainer I knew at the gym I worked at. Let's call her Jessica. Jessica was extremely introverted, but not in like a mousy, scared kind of way. She was very confident. She just wasn't talkative like your typical trainer. And if you don't know anything about personal trainers, the stereotype is that they're all kind of extroverted and overconfident, which I am not like that at all either, probably why personal training didn't work out for me. Well, that and my general dislike for people. But anyways, Jessica. Everyone at the gym thought she was rude, to the point where other trainers actually wanted to get her fired. People were constantly trying to get her to come out of her shell, which, if you know introverts, is genuinely one of the most annoying things you could do to one. So it made her more closed off and more standoffish. And that behavior reminds me of this video.
I am never eating here again! Take that smirk off your face! I want to speak to your manager!
For some reason, people hate it when you come to work just to do your job and leave. And that's how they treated Jessica. But the thing about Jessica that blew everyone's mind was she loved me. Every time we were in the break room together, it was jokes and laughing, always a good time. And people would walk in there and just stare. They'd be like, what the hell? How'd you get her to talk? Jessica hates everybody. But she didn't hate everybody. She disliked a few people because they were always annoying her. But they had her all wrong. She just didn't perform for her coworkers like they wanted her to. No small talk if she didn't want a small talk. She would leave work without saying goodbye because she didn't want to make a big deal out of it. And everyone else who worked there who was very extroverted just couldn't understand that. And that's why she gravitated towards me. I didn't expect anything out of her, and I wasn't trying to burn her at the stake for not being social. We had a mutually understood dynamic of no forced small talk. And because of that, she was comfortable. And when she was comfortable, you saw the real person come out. And she was actually hilarious. Not sour like everyone thought she was. But that's the thing. A lot of introverts are like this.
Oh my god, you're so quiet and shy.
No, I either don't like you,
Or I'm just not comfortable with you yet. If I don't like you,
that's on you.
because I love everybody. If it's because I'm not comfortable with you yet, I just can't be outgoing off rip. I need to analyze, observe, then research.
To see how off the rails I can be around you.
Because I promise you, the moment I am comfortable and I feel safe around you, I will talk your fucking ear off. I will do random dances. I will do random shit that makes you question,
Why do I associate myself with this person?
Introverts really do get labeled as rude, standoffish, shy, all of those things. And it causes people not to like them. But the truth is, most of the time we just aren't comfortable with you. And we definitely don't feel the need to perform for other people. Now, the third reason people don't like introverts is because they don't understand your need for solitude.
I am so tired of introverts who cancel last minute because they have run out of juice. This type of introvert will cancel plans that you've had for weeks because they've had a lot of social interactions lately and need a night to themselves to recharge. And then say you don't get it because you're an extrovert. I don't get it? No, bitch. You're the one on a road trip trying to get 600 miles out of a tank of gas that you know only gives you 4. You want to say, oh, it's so hard being an introvert. This world is made for extroverts. It's just so much easier for you guys. Guess what? Newsflash, life isn't fair. Some people will be able to marry rich because they're good looking. Some people will be able to go to the NBA because they're athletic and tall.
And you are going to hang out with me even if you don't want to. Because as your friend, I can't let you inconvenience me for the sake of your own mental health. When you put it like that, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? People get this idea of the social battery all wrong when it comes to introverts. That's why I don't even like to call it a battery. A battery implies that you are charged up and ready to use that social energy. But that's not how I think about it at all. It's more of a social health bar. Your social health bar starts out at 100 HP and you want to keep it at 100 as long as possible instead of using it up. But every unwanted social interaction knocks you down a few health points. Just like with me and Jessica personal training all day, we are putting on a social performance for our clients. We don't also want to put on a social performance for our coworkers and then go out after and perform for our friends too. Oh, we had plans? Can't do it. I'm sorry. My health bar is depleted. We're just waiting for our social obligations to be over so that we can recover. But when we vocalize this, we're told we need to come out of our shell or leave our comfort zone.
Introverts want one quiet night and it's a personality flaw. We gotta do an intervention. Extroverts talk for an hour and 47 minutes straight and it's great energy. Okay. Imagine telling an extrovert you should sit in a quiet room for 3 hours and reflect. They'd call that, cruel and unusual punishment. But when introverts just want a little peace, suddenly it's something we gotta fix. So yeah, listen, I'll leave my comfort zone occasionally, right after someone forces an extrovert into a single moment of silence.
Now, there is an exception to this health bar thing. There are people out there who don't drain you even with social interactions. These are the people that make you feel comfortable enough to feel like you're not socially performing and that you're just hanging out. These are the people that don't talk over you every time you start a sentence or that ask you what's wrong every single time there's a moment of silence. And judging by what that woman in the video was saying about her friend canceling on her, she is more of a health bar drainer. Her introverted friend knows that she doesn't have the HP to put up with her right now. And that isn't necessarily a negative thing. As an introvert, we like having extroverted friends too. We just can't be around them too much, or we can't be around them when we're already socially drained. And personally, I think people should respect that. Okay, great. So now we've acknowledged that people don't like you and it's not your fault. But that doesn't solve the problem of these people still don't like you. And if you were in a situation where you actually do need these people to like you, or it's going to make your life easier, like a work situation, there is something you could do. Growing up as an introvert, I genuinely thought there was something wrong with me because people were always pushing me to be more talkative and more outgoing. But over time, I started to learn that I wasn't as antisocial as I thought I was, because in one-on-one situations, I excelled. I always had a few good friends. And because those friends were so good, they would almost be like a protective shield for me for when people did think these negative things that they put onto introverts, like that they're weird or quiet or shy. So they would be the first ones to step up and say, hey, maybe you just don't know him. He's a great guy. And I think this same technique can be used as an adult. So before I close out this video, I want to leave you with the best survival technique if you are an introvert stuck in the world of extroverts. And that technique is to convince a few good people to like you. Because if a few good people like you, they will speak positively about you to everyone else, which will stop people from projecting things onto you, which is the real reason people give introverts a hard time. Now you might be thinking, I don't know how to do that as an adult, and I don't even want to do that because that means I have to talk to them. And that's valid, but what I have to say to that is you do know how to do that and you need to do that. If you paid attention in this video, you understand that people don't like introverts because of how their own made-up perception of you makes them feel. Them not knowing what's going on in your head makes them put their guard up. So here's how you convince a few people around you to act as protection from that. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to approach the person that makes you feel the least uncomfortable. And you are going to acknowledge something about them that people rarely notice. Introverts are the best at this because all we do is observe, even if it is the most boring thing in the world. You can still make them feel special by doing this. Even in a work situation, you could just be like, dang, Jeff, you're always on time. I need to get my life together like you. That's it. They'll probably chat you up a bit and then it's over. But they'll remember that you noticed that about them. That's going to resonate with them because they probably make a conscious effort to get to work on time every single day. And the fact that you noticed that, they'll remember it. But one note about this, I would try to make sure you don't do it about anything having to do with their physical appearance because that can come off a little weird. The second thing you could do is remember something that they told you or ask their thoughts about something. Say something like, hey, you just bought that new Mercedes, right? How does it drive? I've been thinking about getting a new car. Same thing here. You make them feel special and that makes their opinion feel valued. You didn't ask Stacy about her car, you asked him. They'll remember that. Do these things occasionally and you'll start to notice that people have more positive energy around you. Slowly, the thoughts they initially had about you will start to be replaced with the positive social interactions they keep having with you. And if anyone else says something about you being quiet and they're around, they're probably going to be the first person to come to your defense and say, hey, he's a pretty good guy. Do this with a few people that you are forced to be around, and it will solve a lot of these problems, I promise. This is the perfect way to use your strengths as an introvert to control situations you would normally run away from. But that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think about why people dislike introverts. Drop a comment and let me know your take. And as always, thank you for watching. Shogun!